The UN official responsible for overseeing human rights in the Palestinian territories says Gaza needs to be treated as a crime scene before substantial rebuilding can begin. Flooding caused by winter rains has added to the misery of hundreds of thousands living in makeshift accommodations. But the UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese says more investigation is required ahead of a major reconstruction program.
I think Gaza will be rebuilt and can be rebuilding is not an issue. We have rebuilt European cities who had been torn into pieces, and it can be. I really think that it is to be rebuilt, but without building over the mass graves. There should be justice first. Gaza is a crime scene, so first of all should be preserved so that evidence can be collected to document the crimes that have to lead to accountability, and so that people who have ordered and carried them out and committed them can be held accountable.
All right, I want to pull in now Robert McNeil. He's a forensics expert with 40 years of experience investigating mass graves and war crimes. He has also assisted in identifying victims of terrorist attacks, going all the way back to the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Mr. McNeil, it's good to have you with us. I want to get your reaction to what we just heard there from Francesca Albanese about Gaza should first be treated as a crime scene before it can become a construction site. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes, I do believe that's true. It would seem from what I've seen in the news that there are many parts of Gaza where crimes have been committed and people have been killed. So I think, first of all, what should happen is that, assuming that the hostilities have ceased, a tribunal similar to those of the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda should be established. And first of all, crime scene investigators should locate the victims' bodies. Contact should be made to local and international forensic experts to confirm their availability for rotation, and that would include forensic anthropologists, pathologists, radiographers, and other forensic specialists to form an exhumation team and a mortuary team. Then the sites, secure the sites where human remains might be found, including mass graves, because I understand that many people who were killed were buried in mass graves respectfully by families and others, but nevertheless those graves should be secured. And the first thing that a crime scene investigator, one of the first things should be to clear the site of any potential ordnance or IEDs, and then set up a safe, secure, temporary mortuary solely for the detailed forensic investigations.
Is all of this possible, in your opinion, considering what the situation is right now in Gaza? I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people who do not have shelter, and we're also talking about torrential rains and flooding in the last couple of weeks that may have washed away valuable evidence that forensic scientists maybe could find. I mean, when you put all of that together, doesn't it seem like we need to worry about the living first?
Well, yes, they should be a priority, but I'm sure that the living and the relatives of those who die would be keen to seek justice for the loss of their loved ones, and so it's something that should be done in tandem. But as far as the forensic work is concerned, the conditions, not only for the local people in Gaza, but for those investigating crimes, should be taken into consideration. And you're talking about flooding, etc. That would make any exhumations more challenging. And so I think that when the time is right, when conditions are better, and exhumations could be carried out safely without disturbing too much of the evidence, then it might be worth waiting until such times as that can be done. But yes, it will be a major challenge, including, for example, setting up a temporary mortuary. That should be exclusive only for victims. And from what I've seen of what's happened in Gaza, it may well be that some sort of construction work should be done to ensure the integrity of that work in a building that I would guess would be used for a number of years, many years, in fact. In Bosnia, for example, what happened 30 years ago, that work is still going on today.
Can you imagine a time horizon as long as 30 years to also become a reality for Gaza? I mean, we're talking about forensics work that could take a long time. We're also talking about a geopolitical situation in the Gaza Strip that remains volatile and that could reignite at any moment.
Yes, I mean, I don't suppose that people fully understand how long this work takes. I mean, obviously politics plays an immense part in all of this, but as far as the forensic people, the forensic experts are concerned, they're not interested whatsoever in the politics, geopolitics, or whatever. They're there to do a job, a similar job to that they do in their own facilities, in their own countries, and that's why I think it's important that international experts from around the world who are objective will carry out this work as they do in their own home, in their own countries, and so. I don't think we take any of that into consideration at all, and so we just get on and do the job that we're asked to do as best we can.
Mr. McNeil, what would you say would be the consequences if investigators, if they don't get access to these areas in time? What will happen then?
Well, as far as the forensic work is concerned, of course, it's true that the longer it takes to begin this work, the more challenging it becomes to gather proper evidence of illegal death and, of course, of identification. But that's not a real issue for the forensic experts, because I've worked in situations where victims have been buried for 100 years and still been able to identify them. So there's disruption of work. Well, I think that the potential really is I mean, I don't know what it will be like in Gaza, but that there are, in these situations, there are often times where it's in some people's interest to disrupt the work, and that can become a major security issue. I don't know if that's true, and that will be true in Gaza, but so it's just one of the many challenges that we have to face. I think that from my experience, especially in Bosnia, a lot of mistakes were made at the beginning, and it would seem that it would make sense not to make the same mistakes again. So,
Mr. McNeil, unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but good talking with you.
Okay.
We appreciate your time today, and let's talk again soon. Thank you.